Now, I know what you're thinking clicking on this video. Firebase Z has not even been out a week. Why are you talking about DLC 2? And I do agree with you, but there is a ton of exciting clues within this map onto where we're going next. And whilst we're all still loving Firebase Z, we're also curious onto where we're going after. And we're going to deep dive answer that in this video. So jumping into it, from the launch of Cold War Zombies, we knew that there were 3 DLC locations we'd be visiting, Vietnam being one of them, and we've now ticked that off the list. There is 2 left. Berlin and the Ural Mountains. If it wasn't obvious enough by the title and the thumbnail of this video, we are going to be going to the Ural Mountains next. Now, this could potentially be one of the most exciting locations we've ever had in a zombies map, and we'll go into the reasons why. Our first major clue as to where we're going next is in the ending cutscene conversation between Ravenov and Samantha.
Not coming with us?
There is an operation underway in the Ural Mountains. I have to stay in the field.
This is the only way.
I told you once, Omega is not who we are. I do this for the good of the motherland. For the good of us all.
As we learn there from Ravenov, he is not joining the Requiem team because he is needed elsewhere, a mission in the Ural Mountains. Now, what's really interesting about the character of Ravenov is that he is a very independent person and doesn't follow any orders from any groups. He solely acts doing what he thinks is the best for his country. So what is so special about the Ural Mountains? Well, we learn a little bit about the Ural Mountains in Die Maschine, but the context is greatly expanded in Firebase Z. Now, in the background of this video right now, you're seeing gameplay from a campaign mission called Echoes of a Cold War, which takes place in the Ural Mountains. Now, since Firebase Z, especially the village, was literally ripped straight from the campaign, there's a great chance that a chunk of this Ural Mountain zombies map will be directly from this campaign mission. Some of you might think that's lazy, but if the assets are already there and already finished, it saves Treyarch time. Now, let's talk about everything we know about the Ural Mountains. And it began with a cipher in Die Maschine, which was solved by Rich Killer, which says attention K. And we now know that K stands for Kravchenko. Initial survey of Ural site verifies it is by far the largest incursion zone yet recorded. We must assume Requiem will detect it via satellite and deploy fire teams regardless of sovereign borders. Recommend continuing operations while monitoring Requiem communications. With your support, I will ensure any new gains remain in Soviet hands. Now, it's incredible that this was in Die Maschine a good few months ago, and with the context of Firebase Z Easter egg, we can understand exactly what they mean by detecting via a satellite. Requiem uses a recently launched satellite in order to detect the firebase and send enough energy to reopen the Dark Ether portal in the OPC. Another cipher in Die Maschine solved by Rich Killer gives us a bit more context, which says attention Kravchenko. P confirms viability of deployment. Opportunity identified in previous communique. Selected site is approved for trial run of Operation Inversion. The nature of warfare is about to transform. Any mission, anytime, any place. G. So contextually so far, we know that the Ural Mountains is the largest incursion zone yet recorded, meaning it has the highest activity of Dark Ether portals as well as zombies themselves. And as we learned from Firebase Z, Omega are all about harnessing the power of Ethereum. I'm sure they'll stop at nothing to make sure that they harness all of that energy there, but it goes one step further. This rolls into easily the biggest talking point of this video and the most important new thing we learn about the Ural Mountain zombies map, and it's from this chalkboard in the military command control room that talks about multiple different locations around the world which have experienced dimensional breaches. References Die Maschine and Project End Station, where the activation of the cyclotron is what weakened the dimensional barrier between realities and the cause of dimensional breaches that are occurring at random around the world. But it talks about the Ural Mountains, and it says this is one of the first breaches that opened after the activation of the Project End Station cyclotron, and it has multiple breaches merging into one large super breach, which is highly dangerous. Enemy interest in this area is high, and the scale of this breach is labeled as large, while every other location on this board is either small, with the exception of Die Maschine being a medium scale breach. So the Ural Mountains breach with the anomalies and the zombies is a large scale breach, huge, and it is 0% contained, whilst Die Maschine was 85% contained. And what makes this even more fascinating is on the same day as Die Maschine's breach is opening, it's the same day that the Ural Mountains breaches open. So whilst we are deployed into D Machina and we go through all those events, the Ural Mountains is spurring a much bigger breach, basically giving us the impression that the Ural Mountains is the epicenter, the mother of all dimensional breaches, meaning there is going to be so many different types of zombies that are going to be infesting the Ural Mountains. Is going to be crazy. We thought the amalgamations of mimics as well as manglers in Firebase Z was bad. The scale of things we might see on the Ural Mountains is going to be incredible. Now in the Cold War campaign, this location is incredibly interesting because it's a revisit of a location from Black Ops 1 where ironically Weaver of all people, along with Jason Hudson, proceed to storm this Russian communications substation, disable the short-range comms, and locate and seize evidence of the Nova 6 gas. Try and find Dr. Frederick Steiner, who created the chemical weapon gas Nova 6. Now we know in the original Black Ops campaign he is killed on Rebirth Island, but Cold War has already had multiple throwbacks to him, being able to find a photograph of him in this mission, as well as him being referenced by Stitch in the Season 1 intro, as Stitch grew up working for Frederick Steiner on Rebirth Island. This really comes full circle, and I'm so excited that this is now part of the zombie storyline, as we learn in a new intel from Dr. Strauss, who was a former member of Project Endstation, now part of Requiem, that he actually worked for a project led by Dr. Frederick Steiner, meaning Steiner is fully canon now in the zombie storyline of Cold War.
When I realized that meant weapons research, I requested reassignment. Little did I know my transfer would be to a much more insidious project led by Dr. Frederick Steiner. After a year, I literally could no longer stomach it. I defected as part of Operation Paperclip. It has been something of a storied career since then, but given Ethereum's potential, I am still hopeful Requiem will make the right decision on where to focus its efforts.
Now, me personally, I've been a fan of Black Ops ever since the first Black Ops game, and we got teasers about Frederick Steiner being involved in zombies in the very first gameplay of D Machina back in September, but to get this full confirmation that Frederick Steiner is indeed involved in the zombie storyline is incredibly exciting, and it definitely leads to the potential that Frederick Steiner could have a heavily involved part of this Ural Mountain zombies map, since Frederick Steiner headed up creation of Nova 6 at this very base in the Ural Mountains, which this next zombies map is going to be based on. Now that Lev Kravchenko plays an important role since he is the colonel of Omega Group, we can link his previous activity to Frederick Steiner and the importance of Nova 6 gases in Black Ops 1, as with Dr. Steiner's assistance, Kravchenko brainwashed various American citizens and soldiers with Nova 6 and programming inside their subconsciousness that allowed the Soviets to utilize number stations to force their agents to carry out designated orders. And who knows, with the history of the Ural Mountains developing Nova 6, this could be one of many reasons why Omega Group are going to be so fixated on this location and why it's going to be such a problem for Requiem when the time comes for us to go into it. I'm also really excited just thinking about the different types of zombies that we could experience here in the Ural Mountains, because this is the biggest breach ever recorded. Since it's been here for the same length of time as D Machina's, there's a really good chance that a lot of the monsters we've not yet seen in Cold War zombies come to life in this map, and also a ton of things that we have seen before could have mutated even more so into other weird creatures. The date talking about the Ural Mountains is the 1st of November 1983, but Firebase Z doesn't take place until June 15th, 1984, which gives a big window of 8 months of time where a lot could have happened with the Dark Ether breach and just everything going on. I'm so excited to see where we go with this, because it sounds like this zombies map location is going to be the biggest, the most dangerous that we've experienced yet, and possibly may experience in the entire Cold War DLC. There are definitely a lot of reasons to be excited for this upcoming DLC, but I'd love to know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and it got you excited, feel free to subscribe. It's free, only takes a second, and you'll never miss out on more videos like this. And whilst you're there, you might as well click the like button. It helps this video out in the YouTube algorithm, and I'm sure a lot of people are interested to know about this next zombies map. On your screen now, you're going to see another zombies video for you to watch on YouTube. Click it there, and I'll see you in just a few moments.